Problem solving, quick decision making, and good judgment are all skills that CMV drivers need to drive safely. But if you're not getting a healthy amount of sleep, it can seriously impair these abilities. In fact, being awake for 24 hours straight can affect your driving as much as if you were legally drunk. And if you don't get enough sleep over an extended period of time, you can become fatigued, which can increase the chances of having an accident when you're behind the wheel even more. In this program, we'll discuss the factors that contribute to fatigue, the dangers of driving while you're fatigued, and the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Hour of Service regulations that address these issues. As a CMV driver, you can often work irregular schedules and be on the road for long stretches of time. So it can be challenging to get consistent, good quality sleep. But studies show that you need 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep each night for your body and mind to reset. If you aren't getting the sleep that you need, your brain won't work at full capacity. If you haven't been sleeping well for 2 days or more, you could begin to experience the effects of fatigue. And if you're driving, that could put you and everyone else on the road in danger. Fatigue goes beyond just feeling sleepy. It's a combination of symptoms that can reduce your alertness and focus. It's the primary cause of approximately 13% of at-fault CMV accidents. And more than 30% of those accidents are fatal to the driver. Even if you aren't injured, a fatigue-related crash can end your career, even put your company out of business. So it's important to understand what fatigue looks like and the consequences that it can have when you're on the road. Since fatigue is usually the result of a lack of healthy sleep, one of the most common and obvious symptoms is drowsiness. You might believe that you can keep yourself awake while you're driving, no matter how sleepy you feel. But in some cases, drowsiness can cause you to doze off for short periods of time without you even knowing that you've fallen asleep. These episodes are called microsleeps, and when you're fatigued, they can occur at any time without warning. While microsleeps last for less than 30 seconds, it only takes an instant to make a serious mistake on the road. And when you're driving, that can be very dangerous, sometimes even deadly. So you need to be aware of the warning signs that could indicate you're too drowsy to drive. They include frequent yawning or blinking, difficulty remembering the last few miles of driving, missing your exit, drifting into other lanes, and hitting a rumble strip on the side of the road. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, you should pull over immediately and take a nap, even if you're on a tight schedule. Doing your job is important, but being safe should be your top priority. Even if you're not falling asleep, being fatigued can still affect your driving. When your brain doesn't get the rest that it needs to function properly, it can be more difficult for you to stay alert. Your mind can begin to wander, and you can become easily distracted. Your judgment and decision-making abilities can also be impaired, and your reaction times become slower. It can be difficult to focus your eyes and even lead to tunnel vision. While it's pretty obvious that fatigue can impair your driving, it can also affect you when you're not behind the wheel. When you're fatigued, you can have both mental and physical health problems, such as increased blood pressure, weight gain, poor immune system function, even psychiatric disorders. While you usually feel the effects of fatigue when you don't get enough good quality sleep, there are a number of task-related factors that can also cause fatigue. One thing that can affect your fatigue levels is how long you spend doing something or time on task. When you have to focus on one thing for a long period of time, your brain can become overworked, which can reduce your alertness and impair your driving. The type of task you're performing can also be a factor in causing fatigue. Monotonous tasks that are predictable and repetitive, such as driving on long, straight roads where nothing much changes, can be especially dangerous. Your brain isn't being stimulated, so your mind can begin to wander. And because you're not paying attention to your surroundings, it can greatly increase the risk of an accident. If you begin to feel like this when you're driving, pull over and do something to help your brain wake up, such as some light exercise, splashing cold water on your face, drinking water, or having a conversation. Doing mental exercises is another effective way to get your brain working again. Doing crossword puzzles, Sudoku, or even playing games on your mobile phone can help reawaken your brain by giving you an engaging task to focus on. But even though these task-related factors can definitely help to counteract fatigue, not getting enough restful sleep is the major cause of fatigue. So whether you're on the road or at home, you need to focus on getting the sleep that you need. Fatigue can affect anyone, but because you drive for a living, it can have more of an impact on you than many other people. That's why you need to understand exactly what leads to fatigue and how to manage it effectively. Even though fatigue can be caused by many factors, you usually experience the symptoms when you're not getting enough restful sleep. But the effects of fatigue can be different for everyone, even though the cause may be the same. So before you can fight fatigue, you need to know which type of fatigue you're dealing with and the steps that you should take to get the rest that you need. Short-term or acute fatigue can occur after only one day of abnormal sleep. When you're experiencing this type of fatigue, drinking caffeine and resting can perk you up temporarily, but a night of good quality sleep is the only cure. Long-term or chronic fatigue is caused by sleep deprivation. It happens when you haven't gotten adequate sleep for days, weeks, or even months. Once you're sleep deprived, one night of restful sleep is not enough to alleviate the effects of fatigue. The only way to truly recover is by getting several consecutive nights of long, sound sleep. To avoid sleep deprivation, you need to develop healthy sleep habits, such as setting a regular bedtime and sleeping in a dark, quiet place. But if you're doing these things and still have problems getting to sleep, are waking up exhausted, or are feeling sleepy all the time, you might be suffering from a sleep disorder. Sleep disorders are medical conditions that often prevent you from feeling rested, even if you've got enough sleep the night before. Some common sleep disorders include insomnia, restless leg syndrome, narcolepsy, and sleepwalking. However, obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, is the most common sleep disorder experienced by CMV drivers. With OSA, your airway repeatedly collapses while you're asleep. When your brain senses that you can't breathe, it wakes you up so that you can reopen your airway. But this awakening is usually so brief that you don't remember it. OSA can cause you to stop breathing for more than 5 seconds, multiple times during your sleep. In severe cases, it can happen up to 100 times an hour. And if you're constantly waking up, you're not getting the rest that your body needs. which can affect your alertness and focus. This, in turn, can interfere with your ability to drive safely. Unfortunately, CMV drivers are more likely to develop OSA than other people because they spend so much of their time sitting and often lack healthy food options when they're on the road. This can lead to obesity, being severely overweight, which is the main cause of OSA. Despite the potential danger of driving with OSA, there is currently no Department of Transportation regulation that requires testing CMV drivers for sleep disorders. However, the DOT does require drivers to periodically pass a physical exam. The frequency of the exams can vary, depending on any other medical conditions you may have. If you are diagnosed with severe or even moderate OSA during an exam, you could be disqualified from driving if it goes untreated. In any case, driving with untreated OSA can put you and everyone on the road in grave danger. So if you suspect that you may have it, it's up to you to consult a medical professional and get evaluated. Usually, you make more money when you log more driving time, which can make it tempting to drive as many hours as possible, no matter how you're feeling. But if you're fatigued behind the wheel, you could become a danger to yourself and everyone else on the road. In fact, because driving while fatigued can be so dangerous, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, regulations state that drivers may not operate a commercial motor vehicle if they are too tired to drive safely. They also say that you must stop driving if you feel too sleepy to continue. FMCSA has also created regulations regarding drivers' hours of service, HOS, to address this issue. They set forth the maximum amount of time that drivers are permitted to be on duty and specify the number and length of rest periods that you must take between on-duty times to help ensure that you can stay awake and alert. These regulations state that your work week should be no longer than 60 hours on duty within 7 consecutive days and 70 hours on duty in 8 consecutive days. You are only permitted to drive for 11 hours a day within a 14-hour driving window, and you are required to have an off-duty period of at least 10 consecutive hours before you start your next on-duty period. Once you've put in the maximum number of on-duty hours, you can only begin your next 7 or 8 day driving period if you rest for 34 consecutive hours. And no matter what period your on-duty time encompasses, you are required to take a 30-minute break during the first 8 hours of driving. While abiding by these rules can help you get enough rest to drive safely, it's also essential that you learn as much as possible about fatigue and as many strategies as you can to help you manage it. Because of this, the North American Fatigue Management Program, NAFMP, was created to provide education to CMV drivers, drivers' families, carrier executives and managers, shippers, receivers, and dispatchers about what fatigue is, its risks, and how to prevent and manage it. You can use their free online training program to get additional information about the effects that fatigue can have on your driving, how to mitigate the risk of fatigue, sleep disorders, screening and treatment, good driver and trip scheduling practices, and fatigue monitoring and management technologies, FMTs. In the end, battling fatigue is your responsibility. If you're feeling fatigued before you start driving, or if you see another driver showing signs of fatigue, report it to your supervisor right away so that they can determine the safest course of action. Getting behind the wheel when you're fatigued can have serious consequences, so you need to be honest about how you're feeling. Fatigue is a normal biological response, not a reflection of how well you're doing your job. When you don't get the rest that you need, fatigue can impair your driving abilities and in turn impact everyone who is on the road with you. Let's review. Fatigue is a result of not getting enough quality sleep, and it can manifest itself in a number of ways. Driving while you're fatigued can have dire consequences. Many CMV drivers suffer from sleep disorders, which, if they are not treated, can make it impossible to get the rest that they need to drive safely. The FMCSA has created hours of service rules, structuring and limiting driving time to try to help prevent driver fatigue. While there are things you can do to help you feel refreshed momentarily, the only cure for fatigue is sleep. Knowing how much sleep you really need and how you can get fatigued are the first steps you can take to make sure that you are well rested and alert whenever you are on the road. Problem solving, quick decision making, and good judgment are all skills that CMV drivers need to drive safely. And if you're not getting enough sleep over an extended period of time, you can become fatigued, which can degrade these skills and increase the chances of having an accident when you're behind the wheel. But there are things that you can do to help you get the sleep that you need to be awake and alert when you're on the road. In this program, we'll discuss how you can manage fatigue when you're on the road, as well as sleep strategies that you can use both on the road and at home to make sure you are getting enough good quality sleep. As a CMV driver, fatigue can manifest itself in many different ways. So when symptoms do appear, you need to know how to deal with them. Fortunately, no matter what symptoms you're experiencing, there are a number of things that you can do to manage fatigue, both at home and on the road. Managing fatigue begins with setting a bedtime for yourself. By maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, you can train your body to fall asleep at a certain time wherever you are. So even though it might be difficult, going to bed at the same time every day while you're on the road can help you fall asleep faster and get better quality sleep as well. But when driving, where you sleep is just as important as when you sleep. If you're trying to sleep in unfamiliar places, it can be hard to get comfortable, which can make it even more difficult for you to fall and stay asleep. Fortunately, if you have a sleeper berth in your truck, you can create an environment that can help you get restful sleep whenever you need it. It's basically your bedroom, so you can promote good quality sleep by making it as comfy as possible. Since everyone has their own idea of what is comfortable, not everyone will prepare their sleeper berth the same way. However, there are several things that you can do to help you get restful sleep, such as getting a mattress topper that can make your bed more comfortable, setting a cooler temperature in your truck, sleeping on the same type of pillow that you have at home, and having comfortable blankets that are appropriate for all conditions. Taking the time to make arrangements like these can help you fall asleep easier and quicker and get a better sleep, no matter where you are parked. Once you've made your sleeper berth as comfortable as you can, you should find somewhere to sleep that is as dark as possible. Being in a dark place can send a signal to your body that it's time to go to sleep. This can help you maintain your sleep patterns, making it easier for you to not only fall asleep, but to stay asleep as well. But in a sleeper berth, it can be difficult to achieve total darkness. Whether you're in a well-lit truck stop parking lot or along the side of a road with a lot of vehicles passing by, any light outside your windows can make it difficult to get good quality sleep. Putting blackout curtains on all your windows can help you keep your sleeper berth dark. Using a sleep mask can also be effective. Once you've created a dark, comfortable environment, you need to find a way to block out any noises that can disturb your sleep. When you're on the road, you probably won't find a place to sleep that is completely quiet. Fortunately, there are several things you can do to drown out distracting noises around you, like using a white noise machine, noise-canceling headphones, or even earplugs. While optimizing your sleeper berth can often help you to sleep better, sometimes you might need to stay in a hotel or motel when you're on the road. In these cases, there are still things that you can do to get good quality sleep even in a strange place. When you're choosing a place to stay, look for one with blackout shades that will make the room as dark as possible. Having your own pillow or some personal items from home can also help you feel more at ease in these new environments. Establishing a sleep routine is another way to let your body know that it's time to sleep. So it's smart to find some calming activities that will help you to wind down. Things that you can do anywhere at any time, such as meditation, reading, and journaling, often work well. No matter how much sleep you get, there can still be times when you become drowsy when you're on the road. When this happens, you should take a break from driving and rest. A 20 to 30-minute nap can improve your alertness and your driving performance for hours afterwards. However, taking a longer nap is not a good idea. A nap that is more than 30 minutes long can often cause you to become groggy, which makes it even more likely that you will fall asleep at the wheel. Also, long naps can disrupt your next main sleep period and throw off your entire sleep schedule. But even if you refresh yourself with a nap, there are other factors you can encounter when you're on the road that can influence your fatigue levels. When you're driving, your body is inactive for lengthy periods of time, and long stretches of road can be monotonous, especially at night. When you put these two things together, it can be a perfect recipe for falling asleep at the wheel. If you find yourself feeling drowsy, one way to keep yourself alert is to pull over and move your body. Shake your hands out, do some jumping jacks, or anything else that can keep your body awake and your mind sharp. Many drivers who are fatigued rely on caffeine to keep them awake in these situations. But even though it can give you a boost of energy for a short time, you can feel more fatigued than ever when its effects wear off. Other things that you can do to temporarily counteract drowsiness include rolling down the windows to get some fresh air, turning up the radio, and having a conversation while driving. But remember, while these might make you feel more alert for a while, you cannot rely on them to keep you awake long term. Getting restful sleep is the only real cure. While you need sleep to be healthy, you also need to be healthy to get good sleep. But being on the road can limit your opportunities for exercise. However, even if you don't have the opportunity for a proper workout, there are a number of things that you can do anywhere, whenever time is available. Exercises like push-ups, squats, and lunges can help to keep your muscles toned. And doing jumping jacks or taking a quick jog around your truck can give you some cardiovascular exercise as well. You can also keep some basic exercise equipment in your truck that you can use on the go, such as dumbbells and a jump rope. Along with exercise, eating nutritious foods is also important if you're going to keep your weight down and stay healthy. To make sure you have something to eat besides fast food, pack some healthy snacks that are low in calories and sugar, such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, and yogurt. But too much snacking at random times can disrupt your body's schedule. So you should focus on eating your main meals around the same time every day. It's a good way to help your body maintain its natural rhythms, including your sleep patterns. When you're trying to stay healthy, what you drink is just as important as what you eat. Drinking soda or juice increases your calorie intake and can actually dehydrate you as well. So if you're thirsty, choose water instead. Not only does water have no calories, but your body also needs it to function properly. Getting quality sleep is as important to living as food and water. If you get fatigued, it can affect every aspect of your life. So it's not just something you have to deal with when you're on the road. Maintaining healthy sleep habits when you're at home and off duty is important as well. Getting good quality sleep begins with setting aside a block of time as your main sleep period. Adults need 7 to 9 consecutive hours of sleep within a 24-hour period in order for their brains to function properly. Since you have such a limited amount of time off duty, it can be tempting to take time out of your main sleep period for other activities, such as going to your kids' games, having dinner with friends, attending a party, and playing video games. But even though your family and social obligations are important, getting restful sleep during this time is the best way to keep yourself alert so that you will be able to drive safely when you go back on duty. So when you're off duty, you should plan all of your activities around your main sleep period. Once you designate a block of time for your main sleep, it's important to make sure that your family and anyone else you live and socialize with understands that you need to get restful sleep during that time. Explain that without this time for sleep, fatigue can take over and make it dangerous for you to drive. So ask them to keep distractions to a minimum so that you can get the good quality sleep that you need. But even if you're sleeping for the right amount of time, that doesn't mean you're getting the most restful type of sleep. So just like when you're on the road, when you're at home, you need to create an environment that can help you get good quality sleep during your main sleep period. For the best quality sleep, the room that you're in should be dark, quiet, and comfortable. Using blackout window shades or wearing a sleep mask are both good ways to block out natural light. If you use a bedroom lamp or any sort of electric lighting, it's best to turn it off completely when it's time to sleep. When we're at home, many of us watch TV and look at our electronic devices much of the time. But this exposes your eyes to blue light that can make it harder to wind down for sleep. So turn the TV off well before it's bedtime. If you must keep a cell phone or other electronic device in your bedroom, put it out of arm's reach and avoid using it during the hour before you go to sleep. Your bedroom's temperature is important too. A room that's too hot or cold will not allow you to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling refreshed. So you should adjust your thermostat to a temperature that will keep you comfortable while you're sleeping. Noise can also be a problem. Everything around you doesn't stop just because you're trying to sleep. Noise indoors or even outside your window can frequently affect the quality of your sleep. If the noise is beyond your control, using a white noise machine can help to drown it out. You can also play music, but only something relaxing. If all else fails, find a pair of earplugs. Ideal sleeping conditions also require a good bed and mattress. It can be difficult to find a comfortable position if the mattress is too soft or too firm. So to get the best sleep, choose a mattress that suits your body type. In addition to preparing your environment for sleep, just like on the road, having a sleep routine when you're at home is another way to let your body know that it's time to relax. Calming activities that can help you wind down and fall asleep more easily, such as taking a warm bath, deep breathing exercises, meditation, reading a book, or listening to music can all help with this. However, drinking alcohol should not be included in your sleep routine. It might make you feel sleepy, but it can actually cause a rebound effect later that can affect the quality of your sleep or even wake you up. You should also avoid big, heavy meals close to bedtime so that your body isn't trying to digest your food as you are trying to fall asleep. Caffeine is another thing that can disrupt your sleep. It's a stimulant, which means that it can actually keep you awake. That's why people drink coffee to try and help them stay alert. Ideally, you shouldn't use it within 6 to 8 hours of your main sleep period. And whenever possible, when you're at home, don't set an alarm. Just sleep until you wake up naturally. When you don't get the rest that you need, fatigue can impair your driving abilities and in turn impact everyone who is on the road with you. But you can avoid fatigue if you maintain healthy sleep habits, both at home and on the road. Let's review. Wherever you are, you can get the most restful sleep if you create a relaxing environment and wind down with a calming sleep routine before going to bed. You should try to sleep during the same hours of the day, whether you're at home or on the road. While there are things you can do to help you feel refreshed momentarily, the only cure for fatigue is sleep. When you're on the road, you can get the best quality sleep by making your environment as home-like and comfortable as possible. When you get the quality sleep that your body needs, you can avoid being fatigued when you're behind the wheel and make the road a safer place for everyone.